So if you want the answer to that future trivia question, who was that Nebraska Cornhusker that made that catch behind his back against us about a week ago, September, what was it, August 30th, 2014? Jordan Westerkamp. The answer is Jordan Westerkamp. Everybody, this is the FAU Football Fancast. We are live, and we are here on YouTube, September the 2nd, 2014. I'm George. On Twitter, I go by the King of Podcasts. I'm accompanied by my brother Andy, who you can find on Twitter at FAU Wise Guys. Andy, happy Tuesday.
How are you, man?
Good. Well, we made it to Labor Day weekend, and we just got done with watching FAU Nebraska on TV, which watched on Big Ten Network. It was nice to watch on a nice big channel. It was kind of nice and, at least see the game. We didn't get to hear much about FAU talked about during the broadcast between, who was it, Kevin Kugler and Eric Crouch, I think it was. They're kind of off doing their whole Nebraska, red kind of thing. But, at least we saw the first drive of what could be a promising offensive drive, where everything worked out. Saw a good touchdown to start off, and then what else? No, I mean, it's a top-ranked BCS opponent.
I think that first drive gave us a little bit of false hope as far as what was going to happen the rest of the game. So, I mean, I remember when we were watching it, we were super excited over that first drive. But, unfortunately, reality set in, and we were taught.
Yeah. Well, we went through a whole lot when it came down to it. It was just a matter of everything that was happening with the game itself. It was just, man, I'll tell you what, it was the way to look at that game. And for those of you, God bless you for watching all four quarters of that, because it was tough. I mean, I saw just on Twitter, a lot of Nebraska fans talking about, oh, look, we broke all these different, single team records and this and that, and Tommy touchdown and all this kind of stuff. And like, that's
well, like, I'll tell you what though, if Quez wouldn't have gotten hurt, it would have been a different looking game. We wouldn't have won, and we wouldn't have been close. But it would have been a different looking game. We probably would have scored on a couple of more drives, probably.
That's all we would have asked for. I mean, we know ourselves when it comes down to it. When we're playing these games against a top-ranked BCS, I mean, we're not going to play. We're not going to go ahead and play. We're not going to repeat Hawaii every time we do this, or repeat Minnesota or anything like that. That's not going to happen. But at least we could just say, at least we're trying. We're giving it a shot, and that's what happened. So,
well, I mean, the one good thing going into this week is that our expectations have been lowered, to say the least.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's again, you just went through a hell of a time. Like, you're going to go to these games, and I'll tell you what, it's just, it's the confidence, it's the challenge that these teams, when you got to start off the season, it's like we don't have that luxury of playing, we're not one of those teams like Nebraska or in Alabama that gets to play a lower tier talent, flip them a couple of $100,000 and say, okay.
There's a couple of things to understand. Number one, that these schedules were not made yesterday, and they were not made last year. They have been made for quite a while now. The other thing you have to remember is that we don't have a lot of people that go to the games. We don't have a lot of big support for our football program right now. So we need the money. And one way that you can get the money, it's easy. Well, it's not easy, but it's relatively easy to set up, is to set up these payoff games. I don't want to call them what other people call them, but they're payoff games.
Right. But I think the other thing you have to say to yourself too is, at what point do you think we keep keeping these games on the schedule? I mean, there's a point where I feel like
I think we're starting to to wean off of them a little bit. We don't have. We used to have more. I think we used to have. There were some years we had like 3. And, 2 is probably, now we're probably looking like maybe 1 or so a year. Maybe 2 we might still get to, but these were brutal. I mean, Alabama's going to be brutal. But to get out of that game healthy is what we're looking at as far as the goal.
No, and the other thing, too, you have to take into account is the fact that we're playing these guys and not maybe not just for luck. It's just a matter of that they are so talented and they're so highly ranked, and they're sometimes they're just coming off of just some great momentum that yeah, it just makes the challenge even harder for us.
Well, and it's not like it is one of our senior laden teams that we've had before. It's not. I mean, we have a lot of new faces on the offensive line, a lot of new faces on the defensive line, a lot of new faces everywhere. The only couple of places that we don't have new faces, the quarterback, running back, we have some experience, but on both lines, which is
Yeah.
huge, which is so important for games like this, we don't have anybody. That we don't have the majority of those squads with a lot of experience and a lot of those people coming back now. I mean, next year we will. We got a lot of young guys, but this year, there's a bunch of new faces.
Agreed. And so what it comes down to is we're still worrying about trying to find our way through, you know, just trying to keep our spirits up, trying to keep ourselves positive going through these couple of games because you know that when after this is all done, we need to keep ourselves at try to keep ourselves at some kind of a high and know that after we get to these big games, we're finally going to get to our schedule. That's the other thing too. We
But
don't
yeah,
have any breaks at all.
but just like you said, it's hard to get yourself back up after you've gotten trounced two times.
Yeah.
And the chances of us getting trounced again this week are high. So you come off a 4 game winning streak from last year, and all of a sudden you get trounced two times. It's hard to pick yourself up off the ground and say, hey man, we're a championship team as far as Conference USA is. If you don't have that championship feel, then how are you going to be able to convey that on the field when you don't really feel like it after you got bounced twice? Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, agreed. It's a lot of problems right now where we're trying to go through just trying to figure ourselves out and just I mean it's the matter of when you're getting these teams out when you're getting us out there right now and we're playing these big ball clubs, you're getting a lot of freshmen out here, a lot of players are just getting themselves in the lineup or those that are coming back and their confidence is being challenged because you got to come back like a Jacques Johnson's going to come back out after doing really impressive work at the end of last year. I mean, yes, you have to realize the caliber of the team you're playing against. You say it every time we watch these games. Look at the size of defensive lines compared to our offensive lines, and the other way around. There's more size, more speed, more just it's the pedigree is more recruited out of those teams than they are for us because we're a young program and we expect more as
All right.
fans.
Well, I think it has to do with the type of player that we recruit. I mean, we just don't try to recruit that kind of guy. We just don't think we can get them here. One of the problems is when you look at games like last week and what you're going to see this week. You see when those guys run block, they get 4 or 5 yards, and if you get 4 or 5 yards of run, it's first downs. It's driving down the field and it's touchdowns. And I'm not to say that we're built to play with Nebraska or Alabama. We're built to play with teams in Conference USA. And I think what happens is that these early challenging games like this put a sour note on what could be a pretty good season, but people are instant gratification. They want that instant gratification. They want to know, hey man, it's a good team right away. This loss turned off plenty of by the way fans that are like, oh, FAU's not any good anymore. Or they're not good this year again. That's what they're going to say, and that's unfortunate because that's
Right.
not the case.
It's tough. It's just a matter of we're trying to find our way here, and we're going through a lot when it comes down to just trying to find out. It's tough to kind of go through and find out what we're going to do here in order to help keep our fans interested in what's going on with the games here. And trying to keep them. That's the other thing you got to worry about too is that the fans that are watching here. If you're just a casual fan, or if you're a student, you don't really follow the team. You're not diehard. How do you go ahead and motivate people to come to the stadium on the 13th? Watch us play after seeing us get ragdolled a little bit.
Well, the intelligent fan knows that's we're not playing Alabama, Nebraska. We're playing a different caliber team, like you said before. But I think a lot of things is we self-inflict wounds as far as, a lot of people like to drink that early year Kool-Aid and, oh man, there's realistically, what was the shot of us, you know, getting an upset? It was super low. I mean, the chance is super low. And you see, even when you have that belief, like a lot of people did, and and in the back of my mind, I had that belief too at some point. You just have to say to yourself, we really need to tone down our expectations and understand what this team is capable of. And pulling off those top 25 upsets, we're just not there yet. Not to say that we're never going to be there one day. We might, but we're not there right now.
Right. No, that's what it's coming down to. And it's hard to work on. So, I mean, when it comes down to wrapping up with Nebraska, just kind of just putting this game aside, what did you take away from what you saw from the game, and what do we how do we take away what we got and put it into Alabama this week?
Uh, I think one of the things we have to take away is that this was a team that had a lot of leadership leave the ball club. And we have to understand that it's going to take a while for that to grow and to get that leadership back, and it doesn't happen overnight. And playing Nebraska and Alabama at the beginning of the year doesn't help that. So, the question that I have though is, are we going to be able to recover from these two games in time to get ready for a game that's important to us, which is the Tulsa game? I mean, that's an important game, and it comes right after these two heavy hitters.
Exactly. I mean, it's frustrating to watch, just to go through. But I mean, I want to go ahead and look past, because look, maybe it's just a little cynical, but it's just a matter of, let's just get past these games that the expectations are so tough. Like, it's, for me, watching these games year after year, it is tough to kind of stay there and keep rooting and keep hoping, and keep putting yourself out there every week. If you're if you're the coach, or you're the players on the field, you're initially trying to say to yourselves, okay, we want to go out there, play to win. But can you?
And the thing is that you can still play well. For example, at the beginning of the game, there was a lot of times when Quez Johnson would go back to pass. He moved around in the pocket a little bit, saw that there was pressure, and he threw it away. Now, that's playing smart football, but that's not going to win you ball games. I mean, throwing the ball out of bounds and saving it for the next play is not advancing the ball upfield, is not making big plays. Playing smart football, you're not taking the sack. He did that a couple of times, and I thought, man, he's playing really smart football. That's going to translate into better football for us once the opponents, come down to a level closer to us.
Right. So, I mean, I guess, what do you say to those fans out there that are watching and they're saying to themselves, well, what's going on here? Like, what can we do?
Brace yourself for another tough game and get ready to come home and play and see if this team has the character to come back from two big losses like that, because every year our team gets tested in their character because they take hard games like this at the beginning and have to fight back. And last year's team not only fought back through that, but fought back through all the coaching deal and all that whole mess, and they ended up, now, albeit everybody reminds everybody that they were weaker opponents in our conference at the end of the year, but regardless, they won games.
Yeah. Just to give you a heads up, while we're doing this live, I'm trying to find out what's going on, because it looks like the devices are like, the cameras are not swapping from left and right, so I got to find out what's going on with that. So I'm going to keep trying to figure that out while we're doing it, and just to let you know. But for some reason, it's just not doing the switch. I don't know if it's CS or not, but I at least want to let you know about that, Andy. So I'll keep trying to work on it while we're doing this here.
All right.
Yep. So either which way, let me get myself back in the move here. So what's next? What do we go to next? I got to pull back up. I'm working producer behind the scenes here, trying to work on stuff. So.
Listen, we're just gonna. I mean, it's, you don't have to talk a lot about the next game because everybody knows it's going to be a rough game.
Right.
So we're just going to have to go in, try to get out of there healthy. Put together a couple of good drives would be great against an Alabama defense. Other than that, we just need to get out of there healthy.
By the way, so today I went to a website. I'm going to tell them anyway. Prep Sportswear. I went ahead and I ordered a shirt from them. I wanted to order a customized shirt, right? So because I told you last week I had problems with finding merchandise and just trying to find a shirt that I wanted that was good, that would be my size and all that stuff. And I go to the town center, can't find a thing. Like I just want a shirt, okay, just a shirt. And I ended up going to their site, and they show you all the different shirts you can get, and then they customize the logos on it. They'll screen print it, all that good stuff. So they sent it to me today. They sent me basically like a black wife beater. It's like the thinnest fabric I've ever seen in my life. So it splashes nice and big the FAU logo on it, but it's the wrong shirt, the wrong size, everything.
Well, you got to go to Italtime, man. That's
well, I know I did that. I went through. I've gone to go visit, but it's just a matter of I haven't had time to go down there to go visit and see what they have. And what I've seen, some of the merchandise, I'm a big guy. It's kind of tough to find something my size, without looking like Baby Huey out here or something.
But they can order something for you. And if you went to the town center, you can go to Italtime.
I'm trying. It's just a matter of I could not find a way to get to it. It's just what's like But the thing is too is that if I go online and I order it. The shirt was going to be exactly what I wanted, no question at all. But they sent me the wrong one. Like they used the wrong material, the wrong shirt, and then they printed it and they sent it over. And I could tell it was wrong because the package felt like it was like a half a pound. So I bring it over here and it's like they bring it and it's like just wrong. And I look at it in the mirror and I'm just like, God, I look like an idiot wearing this thing. I'm going back. First thing I'm going to go to FedEx. I'm going to ship this crap back and tell them, hey, come on now.
That's why you should have went to the Southland, man. There you
go. Okay. Well, maybe they'll see the broadcast. Maybe they'll help solve my problem here. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But one of the good things that you can take out of last week was Lucky Whitehead's going to be good at returning.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And screen passes and stuff like this. When he caught the touchdown on us, they got to use that kid more. He's a little smallish for those games, but in Conference USA, he's gonna be tough to cover, tough to stay on.
Yeah, I mean, from right off the top, Lucky Whitehead playing against Nebraska and just getting things all started. I mean, what was that one drive he put up to 45-yard line and he was just and just really got the team going and all. And when Nebraska started screwing things up, they started getting some penalties. They started early mistakes. I mean, how many times have we seen a Michigan go up against Appalachian State and a couple of mistakes too many and here we go. It's make the game close. That's your week one always. And that's the problem with some of those games. You play those games, you're paying the money for it, and some of those big BCS ranked teams, if they make too many mistakes, how many times have we talked about that every week one of every year? What was it, Miami of Ohio a couple of years ago against Florida, and Jeff Driscoll's falling apart a bit, and they're throwing some picks, and everybody has to come from behind. Then there were a couple of games like that this week in college football, and people were just kind of worried. So
Florida State.
Yeah, not to try to make jokes, but if you're not carrying crab legs onto the field, then I don't know if you the hands are slippery from having crab legs, but trying to throw that ball out, But no, there were some passes that didn't look good. It was a little Chris Ricks-like. Just saying.
Chris Ricks-like. Yeah.
It was a bit.
Well, the other thing from last week's game, Abdullah's going to be in the Heisman for at least a little while anyway. So.
Right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go, switch with this between one or the other because it's not, I don't know, Google Hangout, you're failing me, my friend. I don't know why it's not doing what I want it to do, but it's just, whatever. We'll move along. People can appreciate this, so,
I don't know. You had it working last week, man. What happened?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just letting me do the to and fro. I don't know why it's not doing it, but anyway, it's fine. We'll work through it. People can still hear us. So the one thing is, initially we were going to do this as a podcast, so if people are going to listen in anyway, it didn't really matter about you looking at us because, if you want to look, well, at least for me, you don't have to look at me for that long. It's just just hear my voice. That's about what's more important than anything else. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to watch me talk. Now, I might do little mannerisms in here and there, but it doesn't really matter. Just don't look at me. You don't have to. Just do something. Type something else. Do something else. Listen to us in the background. That's a great way to listen to us.
Yeah. All right.
But by the way, speaking of listeners, I got to tell you, I really love that we got a good response from the first program. When I looked at today, 86 viewers.
That's a start.
That was good. I like that. And there's a lot of ways you can go ahead and reach out to us. So, Andy, I know you want to go and get one thing we want to always encourage, which will always make these shows fun and engaging. It makes it really good so that we're not, me and Andy are not here just kind of having to just, talk to each other. We really want to make it's a fan cast. So we're here to talk to all of you. And there's a lot of ways we want to go and offer to you where you can do that. You can either tweet us. Like I said, I'm at King of Podcasts. My brother Andy here is at FAU Wise Guys. You can find us there. We're always putting some different posts up there all week long, whether it be for whatever's on our minds or whatever's going on when it comes to FAU. That's where you reach us. Or you can also email us if you don't want to put it out there in public for everyone to see. You go to FAUWiseGuys@hotmail.com. FAUWiseGuys@hotmail.com. And the other way you can do it as well is you can actually leave a comment on our YouTube page. Underneath every fan cast that we do, what we'd love to see you do is, leave a question in there and let us know any questions, any comments you want us to go ahead and address that we should bring up on the show. If you want to be on the show and join us for a broadcast live, you can do that too. Who you think we should talk to, what topics we should talk about. This show is for you guys much as it is for us, because our thing was, where else can you talk about FAU football with other fans? There are places out there, but like a medium, like a place where you can watch, or you can hear, and you can interact with others. So we want to try to create the community among other FAU fans to say, hey, you guys, if you want to go and join us, you want to take a part of what we're doing here. We're trying to make some fun stuff here. Come on down and check out what we're doing, and listen and watch our program, and find out for yourself.
Oh, you forgot to mention the Facebook page, FAU Wise Guys. You can just search for FAU Wise Guys. It'll be up there.
And also the same thing for the Google Plus page. We also have one for FAU Wise Guys as well. A lot of places you can drop off information. I mean, that's the social media thing for you. So we have all this connected, and now it's just a matter of we'll keep doing shows here, and we'll keep talking to you guys and letting you know what's on our minds, what we're thinking about when it comes to the games. There's just, I think, we can always do a longer show and we have more stuff to talk about when it comes to, once we get to Conference USA, once we get to our schedule, we can look forward in a couple of weeks and say, okay, the big challenge, those big tackling dummies, these big brick walls that are in our way to get us into the bulk of our season, something's got to be said about our program being able to persevere every season like we do anyway, because it comes down to the fact that we're playing a tough schedule every year. Now, maybe some people want me to say, well, we're playing, the certain conferences, but we're playing right now. For a couple of years, we were playing in a conference that we felt like, we could move up to a higher conference from the Sun Belt to the Conference USA. But right now, I think a lot of our opponents are pretty competitive with us, and that showed last year.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the important thing is how good do we bounce back when we play our first game at home. When we play Tulsa, we'll see how well we bounce back. All right.
Exactly. No, I agree. It's just a matter of let's see what we can do. We'll see what happens with it, and hopefully things will come down to getting ourselves where we can really be seen, where people can really just just get some people really happy to see what's going on with the team. And if you're not able to focus really quickly on what we're doing, then just say to yourselves, let's just get ourselves, let's get more fans watching the games at least. At least get to know your team, get to know who you can see coming out. Because one thing you got to take from this is almost like a preseason game. These couple of games, even though we might not come on the winning end, we're at least seeing what players are coming out here that are excelling, that are actually performing well. And a lot of players we saw from last year, from Andre Kirk to Jaquez to Willie Dukes. I mean, we're just seeing some of those familiar faces coming back up and playing very well. And we'll have some new names they'll be talking about pretty soon.
Hopefully they'll play well. I mean, when Jaquez Johnson has more catches than Willie Dukes does in a game, that's not good.
No. But now the other thing too is that we have to worry about some of the backups that we have. Like we saw Jaquez was the team took a couple of good beatings out there on the field, so you have to say to yourself, well, what's going to happen now? I mean, what do we do to help ourselves going forward to and like Hankerson
it all comes out. None of it matters until you see how that team bounces back in that first game at home. That's all.
Yeah, I guess so. So if there's nothing else, I'm trying to see if we've got any other thoughts on the rundown that we haven't brought up yet.
We covered everything else. We're all good for now.
Okay, so we'll call it that. Thank you everybody for tuning into the Fancast, and we're still working out the kinks. This is a program in progress. Well, it turned out so good last week. I thought we were just like gonna, you know what? And watch the YouTube. Maybe it does turn out pretty good, and maybe I'm just panicking over nothing. But right now, I'm looking where it was, and I'm not seeing it flip over like I used to. And even when I looked at YouTube just now, I just didn't see like it was going. So,
operator error, like I said before.
Yeah, thank you. My fault. If anyone wants to blame me, you can just go and write to me right here. Twitter name is right there, okay? Right there. Just take care of it, and I hope to get it worked out next week. I had it, even before we got started, we were just going through the motions of getting this back up again. So we'll perfect this hopefully next week. I'm pretty sure of that. So, Andy, thanks for taking a few minutes, and everyone, thanks for taking a few minutes as well for watching the FAU Football Fancast, which you can find here on YouTube every Tuesday. And until next week, go Owls. We'll talk to you. And enjoy the game against Alabama. Have a good week, everybody.